We took off on the ride at 7:45 this morning. We drove to the Sioux 500 racetrack. The people from the board of directors were there. They opened the track up for us. We then started the trip and drove over to the tunnel under I-75 where the trail begins. And on the embankment wall of that tunnel, you now will see a sign that says MichCanSka, Highway to Alaska, Tok 4,000 miles. We were greeted by the mayor and all kinds of city officials. They were there and presented us with a proclamation.
Proclamation from the City of Sault Ste. Marie, MichCanSka, Snowmobile Trip for Diabetes Research. Whereas on Monday, February 15th, Wednesday, February 17th, and Friday, February 19th.
And it was just a great thing to see that the whole city of Sault Ste. Marie was behind us. And then when we started our engines and drove past all those officials, they held out their hands and we gave them high fives as we drove through the tunnel.
That was good. A little tough, but good. The trails are a little bit rough, but we made it. Long day.
The trails weren't that great, but that's Michigan. When you get a lot of snow, you know, in their sleds, they beat them all up. So I think we're on our way and looking forward to a good night's sleep tonight.
With day 5 being the shortest day on the trail so far, and the Sundance Hotel in Belcourt, North Dakota having a casino, day 6's morning came awfully early. A quick count to make sure no one is left behind, a 3-mile ride, and the MichCanskans are crossing the border at Dunseth, North Dakota, and entering into Manitoba at Peace Gardens. Moving quickly through customs and eager to snowmobile north of the border, Bill Bradfield calls a meeting to meet our Canadian guides and plot the course to Russell, Manitoba.
We're going to have a quick meeting right here. Daryl Vodden is going to lead us today to the Russell Inn. And I want everybody to know Daryl and Tom, right?
No, Blair.
Blair. Daryl and Blair.
My mom would be so proud of me. Actually, it's not that doggone cold out here. The only time it got chilly was when I went down in the deep snow here. It all came up over the windshield.
Then we almost collide our sleds and roll them over.
After all the excitement, there's still a long way to go. Not to mention, it'll be dark soon. Finally, meeting up with Group 2, we get our coldest day at -25 below zero Fahrenheit. This crystal clear morning and the frigid temperatures promise to be an interesting twist in our, what seems to be like a totally new adventure with Group 2. The day's trip from Russell, Manitoba to Priestville, Saskatchewan promises to be an eventful day.
I come over that Mogo and I let down on that left side, that right side back here. Under the stress. Wish you hit hard.
I can't believe nobody stopped.
Well, busted. This was about this high.
Oh, it was.
Oh yeah.
There, that way. Let's give it a whirl. Well, there's a Skidoo dealer, the biggest one around they set up ahead. So
is there?
Yeah. It's 10 miles from Priestville.
These are a little sore.
And Jerry and boy.
The damage was just too much to go on.
It just come down hard on the front end, and I think it broke the front of the suspension. Kind of broke the windshield and the hood a little bit. Nothing serious, nothing we can't fix and keep going.
Are you okay? That's all I care about, if you're okay.
And the reason I didn't come back looking for you is because I knew he was coming.
I didn't see him though.
It was 3 or 4 miles. I wasn't in the lead.
If Rob wouldn't have been there,
Let's just
I
get
wouldn't have seen him.
to be able to be on a trip that is of this quality and of this distance. It's kind of a dream come true that I've always had. I need a different windshield.
Yeah. These rivets came out.
It's good people when they know what we're doing and they'll get in there and go after it. It's just, there's good people in the world, you know? Does anyone have a compass? I lost my compass this morning. Thank God I got my wallet. All right, so we're right here then. We got to go over to here. Right? I see 120 heading south.
Hang it right until we get farther down the pike.
And 120 runs right down to Meath Park.
791 is not the road we're on.
We're on 120 right now. We're going to go up here to 791 and turn right. Take it across.
You're going to
See, we're on 120. We're going to go down here before.
Turn left. You're going to turn left. You got the map upside down.
Being the leader of an adventure cross-country snowmobile team can become full of having to make unexpected decisions. Like, which way do I go? And what do I do with a trail sign like this? The first part of the day was spent trying to run along the rail grades. And sometimes it gets a little boring running down the old flat rail grade that doesn't have much snow on it. For some reason we may never understand, our leader Todd decides to take the adventurous way across the Athabasca River. Well, now snowmobiling was not boring anymore for the first several of the group. As soon as Todd's sled touched the ice, there was a slushy, cracking, and collapsing sound. This could be a very ill-fated attempt to cross the semi-frozen river. This river is what would slow us down to a dead uphill crawl for a couple of hours.
Take the brake off for me and hold it so it doesn't roll in the river.
Yep.
Ready?
When it comes to traction control, there is always an argument on whether to stud or not to stud. Todd had the only studded track on the river. The snowmobile without studs for traction has to be manhandled and roped back to the trail above. After being paid a visit from man's best friend, it seems like an omen that we're finally about to be on the trail. 5.5 days in the truck without being on a snowmobile, it was time. One of the best parts of the trip has been the wildlife. Just about everywhere you look, you can find some. This lynx really didn't mind sharing the road with us, as long as we were 10 yards or so away. Well, let's get back to snowmobiling. It promises to be an intriguing day.
We left Johnson Crossing at 10 in the morning. The first 90 miles was easy, but then after that it started to snow really bad. And it was a sleet type snow. You could hear it hitting your helmet.
As one can imagine, there is not a lot of sled traffic on the trails in the Yukon. We paid little attention to the warning signs that closed this road during the winter for sled traffic only. None of us had ever come close to needing a rescue in our snowmobile careers. What a feeling of accomplishment we were all starting to have. Everyone reunited and snowmobiling the final leg of the journey over top of the World Highway back into the United States and ending our trek in Tok, Alaska. The day looked like it was going to be excellent for riding, but Mother Nature had her surprises for us, and nothing is as easy as it might seem. Yukon Highway number 9 began as a pack trail out of Dawson City shortly after the gold rush. It serviced 60 Mile and neighboring Gold Creeks. The trail was gradually improved and came to be known as Ridge Road. In the 1930s, the road was extended to the border and from there to Jack Wade and Chicken, connecting these Alaskan communities to Dawson City in Canada. In the late 1940s, Alaska's Taylor Highway gave all these communities road access to the outside world by way of the newly completed Alaska Highway.
Well, some of the things that we encountered were incredible. I would say the first 3/4 of the ride was pretty much non-eventful and really beautiful scenery. Then we hit a windstorm that was incredible. It was hurricane force winds that came down the mountainside, and they blew so hard, we estimate 80 to 90 miles an hour, because it blew one snowmobiler right off her machine.
We coming around the corner there, and as we come around, there was a bare spot in the cement, in the tarmac, and a gust of wind took Sandy and I both right across there, just like we were on ice. And the wind, just like we had a sail on our snowmobile, took us right across it into the pucker brush.
Okay, ready?
Got it!
And then I said, it's time to mount up. We had our Canadian guide take off, and I rode right behind him, and then we all rode tall in the saddle all the way into Tok, Alaska. We were so proud when we got into where we were going to spend the night.
I loved every minute of it. To come home and tell my family and friends about it, I think they were very proud of what I did. I know I am. I don't know as I'd do it again, but I would like to do something like it again.
On February 15th, the first group of 72 total riders left Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. 22 days later, on March 8th, 2010, 52 MichCanSka snowmobilers arrived in Tok, Alaska.
Somebody once told me that when it comes to foundations and organizations that raise money, the volunteers that undertake projects are the backbone of any agency. And I think it goes beyond that. I think they're also the heart and soul.
It's nice to look back and think that as you got into this trip and as you begin to go through this trips and the ups and downs, you begin to understand what the trip is more about. And it developed his own personality, it developed his own sense of value. And that was the fact that it started out as a great snowmobile trip. And it was. And as we were going, it still was. But as we went through the various different towns, as people donated money, they'd come up to you, grab you, give you money. Sometimes it was maybe most of the money they had in their pocket, 20 bucks or a buck or $1.50. But then in your mind, you begin to think, myself as an individual, that's not as important as a snowmobile ride, and the snowmobile ride is not as important as the cause, and the cause of diabetes research. And as we got a little bit farther into the trip, I personally, along with many other people, began to realize this whole thing is bigger than us.